Taryn, and we're here at Myles Reading. I'm here with Joe, our transmission department manager, and today we're going to be answering Joe's going to be answering some questions, and I'm going to be asking them about CVTs. So, Joe, what is a CVT?
So a CVT is a continuously variable transmission. It is belt driven, unlike your typical clutch driven transmission that we're used to.
Cool. CVT versus regular transmission, what's the biggest difference?
So in a CVT, which is what this is, we have a belt. It's called a push belt. So what's going to happen is, as you drive forward, this is what the engine's turning.
Mm-hmm.
This is going to squeeze, which is going to bring this belt outwards,
Mm-hmm.
and bring this inwards, which is going to change the ratio. That's why it pushes. That's why they call it a push belt, and that's what increases into your highway speeds as you're moving along. Whereas a typical trans, we have just like a typical clutch drum like this. This is what we're used to for many, many years now. This clutch, there's a piston back there that's going to come forward and squeeze these clutches, which is grabbing a hub that will be in here, which is going to transition into another gear set, which is your typical, you stop, you feel that little shift happen.
Yeah.
That's what's happening. This is applying, it's grabbing that hub, and it's changing the ratio to the output. So that is the biggest difference between these two is clutch packs for each gear, one whole belt for every gear or every ratio.
Okay. And is there a typical car that you would see this in versus this? Like, is there a certain brand of car that would use this more often or versus this model?
So our common cars, which is what this is out of, is Nissans in particular, but they're also in Subarus, they're in Toyotas, they're in Hondas, they're starting to come out in Chevy again too. So they're starting to move around a little bit more, but Nissan was one of the first ones.
Do you find it more challenging to work on this type of transmission rebuild versus a traditional transmission?
Yes, and that's mostly because they are so fragile. So when this thing fails, there is so much to look out for because it just wants to destroy everything.
All right. So obviously all transmissions need fluid. So how do I know what type of fluid goes into this type of transmission?
Well, it's all going to be synthetic. CVT fluid is all synthetic.
Okay.
You're going to notice that typically it's going to be clear, but some manufacturers are coming out with it red as well.
Oh, okay.
But you have to be careful because you cannot mix the fluid that would go in here with the fluid that goes in here. And it will say it on the bottle, and typically you can call the manufacturer and ask them for the part number.
Okay.
And then on the back of the bottle you would buy, it should have that part number listed so you know it's safe to use or not.
Okay. How often should we be changing the transmission fluid on this type of unit?
The way this is designed, it is continuously variable, but it will continuously slip as well. So this belt is designed to slip. That is why when you pull out in a CVT vehicle, the RPMs will go pretty high, but it doesn't really seem like it takes off like it's not so positive. And that's because that belt is slipping and trying to catch up and do its job. So that's going to create metal. Typically, in my opinion, I'd like to see them done every 30,000.
Okay.
Because the way that it is done. 50,000 in my opinion would be like your maximum. You know, because the fluid is expensive. I get it.
Yeah.
But still, if you want to keep it nice and keep that metal out of there and keep it moving, every 30 is a
30,000?
safe bet.
I'm sure the transmission fluid is less expensive than fixing a broken transmission.
Yes, it is.
Besides looking at mileage, what other indicators can we use to know whether the fluid needs to be changed?
CVT fluid is typically clear or greenish color. With these transes, there is still a couple, like for forward and reverse, you still have this clutch pack, which works that part of it. And there's also a torque converter in the front that also has a clutch in it. And as they wear and they get hot, they will turn that fluid into a varnish. It'll start to turn and tint to a brown color. So if you pull your dipstick or have somebody check your fluid and there's some browning in it,
Yeah.
you should get it out of there because it's getting hot and it's starting to, you know, the wear and tear is starting to get in there.
All right. So what kind of bad things could happen if I were to make a mistake and put the wrong transmission fluid in my CVT unit?
CVT fluid is a totally different viscosity. It has a totally different set of cleaners in it. You will get a lot of weird shift feel. It will slip more, it won't know what to do, and it will fail rapidly. Regular ATF is not designed for a slipping motion. and it will just destroy this belt in no time.
The fluid is thicker or?
The fluid in this trans is going to be thinner.
Okay.
This fluid is a little thicker.
Okay. What does harsh driving mean for my CVT, and what kind of things can I look out for to prevent it?
So harsh driving with CVTs, like I said, they slip all the time.
Mm-hmm.
So if you're that all go and then stop all the time, you're going to wipe this thing out in no time. It is not
I
good
feel like
for
you're
it.
directing that right towards me.
I'm sorry that it feels personal for you. So I guess you're one of those people and you probably shouldn't own a CVT. But if you do own a CVT and you are that person,
I don't.
expect to do it much sooner. Because you're going to create a lot of heat in that belt.
Okay. Why is driving in low gear bad for a CVT?
Driving in low gear isn't particularly bad for it, because this belt is kind of stuck in one motion. So if you drive around in low gear, it's really not that crazy of a big deal.
Okay.
Unless you're making the engine race,
Mm-hmm.
which then you're going to make the engine work way harder than it needs to, over revving, and then possibly causing engine issues.
So
later.
not necessarily CVT damage, but engine damage
Yes.
potentially. All right. Are there any other things that I should do maintenance-wise or preventative-wise that I can change about my actions to prolong the safety of my CVT, or if someone would have a CVT?
So it all comes back to fluid in this trans. You can't escape it. That's the only thing that can really help these, is to make sure the fluid stays good and it stays flushed. We have conditioners and special additives that we can put in here during the services.
Mm-hmm.
A key note for these is temperature. Temperature is very important. They like to be at operating temperature. They do not like to be cold, because then the fluid is too thick.
Temperamental.
Yes, very temperamental. The manufacturers add on these that work with the engine's coolant system. It's a special exchanger that, as the car heats up, your coolant in your car heats up faster than the fluid in this trans. So what they've done is they've added an exchanger to not only help cool it when it's hot, but to warm it up faster when it's cold, to get the trans to operating temperature as soon as possible.
Okay.
Because if not, it's going to do weird stuff with the valves. It doesn't like it.
Okay.
It doesn't like it.
So noted. Let your car warm up.
Yes.
If
And checking it at operating temperature is also key, because CVT fluid expands very, very fast
Oh.
and a lot.
Okay.
So like typically with this trans, you can check it, you still want to check it operating temperature, but from cold to hot, it's not going to change a lot.
Right.
This one, it will.
Okay.
If you fill it cold and check it cold, when you check it hot, you could be up to a quart and a half over full. And then this belt's going to slip a lot and cause
Okay.
problems.
All right. Well, that's good to know. What could be making my car feel like it's losing power or creating a whining sound?
Like I said, they like to throw metal. That's kind of their job. So as that metal goes down into the pan and into the filter, and it's not serviced, the pump will start to whine. You'll start to hear groaning sounds, like a low power steering pump or something like that. You'll get a similar sound compared to that.
Okay.
And what happens is that pump valve can no longer regulate right. So the pulley is not in the correct position. So when you go to pull out, it'll feel like you don't have power, because it can't find its home position that it wants to be in. And not only that, but a lot of manufacturers have it preset to kind of try to save itself. It'll actually put the throttle into limp mode, so that you can press the throttle all you want and the engine will not raise, trying to save itself. So
Okay. With transmissions, a lot of people say that they can work on transmissions, but at Lee Myles, we like to think that we specialize. And why is it important to bring your transmission to a place like Lee Myles that knows what they're doing with transmissions?
because if you go to the auto parts store and you get it scanned, their scanner is not going to have the same capabilities that ours has, to be able to actually see the data, to see what's going on, to give you a better idea of what's going on.
Okay. So basically, you're saying Lee Myles has the research and the tools to be able to help me correctly, rather than someone who be able to tell me the problem but not know how to diagnose it.
Right. We've been fixing these transmissions in particular for quite a few years now.
Awesome.
And we've gone through the research and effort to make sure that we can nail it down the best.
Great. Thanks so much, Joe. I feel like I know so much more about CVTs now.
Yay.
So if you have a CVT and you're wondering, maybe I drove 30,000 miles, maybe it's time to get it checked, maybe you should come into one of our 3 Berks County locations. We're here in Reading, Birdsboro, and Sinking Spring, and we may have something new on the horizon, so keep your eyes out. Have a great day.